Austraeoh by Imploding Colon, read by Deathlight, Chapter 186, Matriarch. Ember Speak's eyes were clenched shut, and her entire body was trembling. Gently, a blue hoof nudged her cheek. "Hey," Rainbow said in a low, hoarse voice. "It's okay, we're safe, for the moment." With a gasp, Ember opened her eyes. Sweating, she found herself situated on a rocky ledge close towards the ceiling of the cavernous chamber. She blinked, surprised that she had enough light to see with. The Earth Pony became aware of a bright red glow from the subterranean landscape below. Pensively, she crept closer towards the edge to take a look. Just as she caught a glance of a glittering landscape of reflective material, four leathery bodies surged by. "Go!" she began before her mouth was silenced by Rainbow's hoof. The Pegasus pulled her back as several giants surged past them and towards the center of the huge chamber. After a few seconds, Rainbow Dash spoke in a calm voice. "Why are you so freaked out? I thought you've been battling these creeps all your life." Once Dash removed her hoof, Ember gasped and stammered. "It's just I've never been so close, and so many of them." "I remember what you said about the ponies that entered this place before. But don't worry, we're gonna break the streak. I'm gonna get us both out of here once we've had our talk with the Matriarch." The Pegasus blinked and made a crooked face. "By the way, does she have a name?" "Not that I know of." Ember glanced over at Rainbow Dash and did a double take as soon as she noticed the Pegasus wasn't trembling as much as she was. "How can you be so calm at a time like this?" "For the same reason you're not," Rainbow muttered. "I'm just trying not to sweat it." Upon hearing that, Ember Speak realized how incredibly hot it was inside that place. She ran a hoof through her mane and remarked, "Yes, well, I just don't understand it. This is the..." She froze as several more bodies soared by. "Home of my mortal enemy." "They're very bad dragons, but they're not my enemy. As far as I'm concerned, they're a bunch of bullies who need to be told how to behave by a pony who has the authority to cut them down to size." "I don't know whether to envy you for your simplicity, or pity you for it." "Beats me, but I'll go with envy. It's always a good day when ponies envy me for something." "I still can't get over how you chose to get us into this place," Ember hoarsely exclaimed. "We were sneezed away from that dragon. What if it turned around to see us?" "Well, it didn't, so let's make the best of it." Rainbow squatted down low and approached the edge of the cliff, squinting towards the glowing center of the chamber. "What the hell are they doing?" Ember squatted next to her, staring in the same direction. Oh, well, wouldn't you know it?" "Wouldn't I know what?" Ember pointed at a giant hole carved into the stone. A gigantic fire is blazing in the huge crucible. As each flock of dragons glided in, they dropped a huge chunk of rubble and debris into the pile. Several wingless drakes stood at the ready once the collective junk of Sylvatal was deposited in front of them. They proceeded to shred the material apart. Anything that was jaded, rusted, or decrepit was shoved into the burning pits. However, in the off chance that something shiny and valuable was found, it was passed over to another group of even smaller whelps who dutifully carried materials towards the other side of the chamber. There, a sprinkled aura formed as a result of distant flames reflecting off a veritable mountain of gold, silver, and pearlescent bits. In the center of the mesa, the children of the matriarch were gathering a monumental pile of treasure. "It's her hoard." "Hoard?" Rainbow made a face. "You mean that's what this is all about? Giving birth beneath the earth, trashing your city, killing any pony who comes near." Her expression twisted in disgust. It's all for a bunch of lousy golden trinkets? A horde is more important to a dragon than his bloodline. Or, at least, that's what the elders always explained to us. Long ago, our forebears assumed that was the purpose of the dragon's destruction of Sylvatal. To this day, Samros' expeditions into the ruins hardly turns up anything made out of metal. It was seen that the Matriarch's dragon whelps would pilfer Sylvatal of all valuables. How come they're still flying out in steady groups then? You saw it when you first came here. The flock was flying back from having gone a great distance. Somehow, I wouldn't doubt if the Matriarch's brood had scoured the very edge of this continent. Yeesh, that's pretty dang greedy, don't you think? Well, I mean, I'm no novice when it comes to dragons. I know all about them hoarding and stuff, but this right here. She whispered loudly and gestured towards the gigantic pile of glittering before them. This is freaking crazy. Talk about overkill. You've seen dragon hordes before? Dang straight. And it isn't the same size as this? Not even by a long shot. Rainbow Dash's ruby eyes narrowed. This is enough treasure to make a dozen big dragons happy. And if I didn't know better, I'd say these guys. She pointed at the scores of dragons flocking over the crimson interior. Don't have any claim to the junk. Oh? I mean, they're tiny. Well, big compared to you and me. But the dragons who had hordes in Austraeoh were crazy big, like 50 times the size of any of these freaks. Rainbow ran a hoof through her mane as she thought aloud. I'm wondering if there's much purpose to these dudes, other than this single, boring task of gold collecting. I mean, you see what they do to their teeth. I don't remember any dragons giving up their chompers that easily. You mean to suggest that these are nothing more than expendable workers? Ember smiled bitterly. You wouldn't be the first pony in this part of the world to come to that conclusion, Rainbow. But they're still intelligent. I can't accept any excuses to slay them left and right. Do you think they have the same capacity to feel the same pathos for you, Rainbow Dash? The Pegasus took a deep breath, fuming. She rubbed her hoofs against the edge of the rocky cliff and muttered, "This world isn't gonna get any cleaner if we keep spilling blood over it." That's what we're here for, yes? Ember leaned forward. To prove a point? So long as we don't get the point. Ember remarked as several more bodies flew past. She raised a hoof to her pendant and grumbled at the dim glow. Come on, princesses, get through. What's taking so long? Ember said in a desperate whisper. Beats me. I mean, it's not exactly an easy spell that they're casting. Whenever sun and moon stuff mixed in the past, it's hardly been a walk in the park. But they should be getting through any time now, right? Yeah, and if you ask me, I should be getting into position. What do you mean? Ember asked, squinting. Who knows how long this is going to last? Rainbow said, pointing at the pendant around her neck. I want to have the Matriarch's attention as soon as the magical transmission begins. That way, the princesses can get as many words as possible. But I thought they said the spell will last over an hour. If you've had as much experience with magic as I have... Rainbow Dash smiled tiredly. You learn pretty quick to expect the worst. You don't strike me as a pessimist. Girl, I haven't struck you, period. Ember blinked at that, but gasped upon hearing a shouting voice in the distance. Rainbow spun about, wings outstretched. What was that? A pony? No. Ember Speak said, pulling herself and Rainbow down so that they were squatting again. It's one of the speakers. Speakers? Yes, remember? Like the one who appealed to us when they burned. Rainbow Dash patted her shoulder and nodded. Yeah, got it. Speakers. She craned her neck to get a good view of the source of the shouting. Marching through the space between the burning pit and the glittering horde, a slightly larger drake with a fan of spikes around his cranium glared at the laboring whelps and grunted towards the coming workers, depositing the debris from the air. "Put them on faster, you worthless whelps!" He grunted, his tongue lashing in the air as his slitted eyes reflected on the gold from one side and crimson on the other. "There are only half of you. That doesn't mean you gotta slack off. Our time of peace is coming. We must add our name in honor." Ember's eyes narrowed. "Only half of them?" She glanced aside at Rainbow. "What do you suppose that means?" Rainbow merely listened more intently as the speaker marched towards the golden pile below. "This isn't enough. We need more! More!" He grabbed one of the flyers with a merciless talon around the throats. "Fly until there's no land left, then scour the ocean's floor if you have to. All this metal belongs to her glory." Just then, a booming voice shook the entire cavern, causing flakes of dust and pebbles to fall from above. "My child, do not bruise the scales of my scales." The speaker froze on the spot. He released his grip of the drake and pivoted to face the glowing source of violet light from beyond the gold. "They are slacking off, Your Eminence. I only wish to ensure the wealth of your immortal title. Let me be concerned over what is or isn't immortal." The voice had an undeniable refinement to it, as if belonging to an elegant soul who belonged in palaces and not in a cave. Regardless, Rainbow shared some noticeable trembles with her silver-down companion at the end of each thunderous phrase. It would do the bird good that you practice patience. After all, your siblings are away, attending to something far more honorable than you. The speaker recoiled from that, but nevertheless held his tongue. He bowed his long, slender neck, pivoting his spikes forward. "As always, I am humbled by your strength and wisdom, Your Eminence. I beguiled hundreds before you, and I will bring dozens more into this world before time claims me. Your strength and wisdom is like flowers before a flame compared to mine. Do not forget this." "Verily, I shan't, life-giving one." "Please proceed with a greater degree of silence. I have much meditation to do." "As you wish." Rainbow Speak's face was contorted in confusion. Rainbow Dash flashed her a look. "Was she what you expected?" "It's not that. I just found some of what she said." "What?" Rainbow Speak gulped. "I'm just so overwhelmed by this place. I do hope we don't have to be here for too long." "My thoughts exactly." Rainbow stood up and flexed her wings. "I'm going in." Rainbow breathed in sharply and uttered, "Already?" "No point in wasting time. Luna should be sounding off soon. By then, it'd be too late to hide." "If you insist." "Stay here. It's a good enough vantage point, don't you think?" Rainbow looked Ember's way. Rainbow Speak pulled out her crossbow, loaded it, and winked with a nervous smile. "I have recovered, for what it's worth. A lot more than you think." Rainbow flapped her wings and stepped off the side. "Here goes nothing." Ember hissed after her. "Just try to be careful." Rainbow dropped straight down to the glide. "You kidding? I'm the life of the party." She landed on a shadow patch of rock below. No less than a second later, her hooves made contact. The same shadows came to life. 10 resting drakes flexed their scales and glared at her. The temperature climbed as the air grew dense from the sulfuric snarls. A bulb of sweat ran down Rainbow's neck, then evaporated from the sheer heat. "So, I'm guessing no spin the bottle?" All 10 drakes shrieked and blew fire at her. Rainbow Dash soared straight up, only to have several columns of burning plasma converging on her. She twirled, dodged, and flung herself through the infernal web of launched breaths. Squeezing through the maelstrom of flame, she was forced to sweep low over the pile of glittering gold. Small whelps and delicious-shaped dregs scurried in every direction as she skimmed over the sea of trinkets. A wave of burning froth closed in on her trail. Dodged the swipes of two intersecting dragons, kicked off the crowns, and dove low again. "What the blazes?" The speaker turned and gasped at her. "Right back at you, ugly!" Rainbow Dash plummeted, spun upside down, and passed directly underneath the spiked worm's belly. As she did so, she slammed all four of her hooves up. The sheer shock of the point's blast threw the gasping speaker's skull up into the trailing wave of flame. He shrieked in pain and fell back into the splashing puddle of golden coins. At this point, half the nest was chasing after Rainbow Dash. She panted, wheezed, and whimpered for breath, all the while twisting and threading her way through dozens upon dozens of angry claw swipes and snapping jaws. She screamed for good measure, kicked off a pair of skulls, and threw flew a fork formed by dangling stalactites. A dragon slammed into the ceiling and fell in a shadow of rocket debris. Baking around, she voted another volley of flaming breaths. Rainbow touched a sweaty glance through her peripheral vision. To her joy, the distant, dark ledge upon which Ember was hidden was completely abandoned. None of the dregs were even remotely close to the concealed Earth Pony. It was a great relief to the Pegasus until she found herself sailing straight into a dozen sets of shrieking jaws. Rainbow Dash flew her body sideways and flung her wings straight out. She barely skirted past several sets of burning teeth. Diving low over the flaming tongues of the burning pits, she soared back up. Curved along the wall, outpaced another group of growling pursuers. At last, she soared again towards the golden pile. The dragons and whelps were closing in on all sides now. She was running out of escape options. "Come on!" Rainbow Dash slapped her hoof repeatedly over the flickering pendants. "Come on, get through, Luna, get through!" "Cease and desist, mortal." The sheer wave of sound billowing towards Rainbow Dash was enough to knock the air out from under her wings. She wasn't the only one. All the dragons around her clumsily skidded to the ground in a lips of quivering scales. Rainbow plummeted, tumbled, and skidded to a stop against the golden mass. She stood up, wincing, only to find herself swallowed up by a thick, serpentine shadow. She looked up and saw her gasping face reflected in a pair of emerald eye slits. It appeared for a moment that a piece of the mountain had come alive. It protruded outwards the granite wall that loomed above her. However, Rainbow Dash had never known a living piece of rock to possess violet scales, a jagged set of protruding spinal blades, or a crown of spiraling horns flaring out of a titanium jawline, with a jagged ivory nose crest situated above a flaring pair of nostrils. The matriarch lifted up on her four legs of rippling violet muscles, and spread her ancient, porous wings. Serrated claws glinted from the joints of her fibrous limbs. As the Dragon Queen opened her mouth, brandished two sets of serrated teeth, and spoke with a three-pronged tongue sparkling with embers. "You are a remarkable specimen to have flown into my domain with such exotic wings." Grey smoke billowed from her mouth as her eyes flickered a hotter emerald. But a corpse is still a corpse. That said, she lunged her jaws forward to consume Rainbow Dash in one snap. The Pegasus flinched, her head tilting back, her pendant lifting straight up to the gasping maw of flame. "Axon!" A voice emanated hauntingly from the ruby lightning bolts. The matriarch froze, just a few inches away from crushing Rainbow Dash to dust. Her wings coiled to her side, and her eye crest lifted. The sounds of labored breathing surged through her iron lungs. The voice repeated from the glowing pendant. "How angry and bitter you sound, old friend. It has been a long time since we walked the virgin plains of this immaculate world." The matriarch's frown returned, however, she leaned back, her haunches settling weightily on the mountain of gold, as she growled from deep within. "Celestia, goddess of the sun, eternal optimist, and eternally watchful of all things that walk this world, both blessed and cursed." Rainbow sweated and relaxed under a sheen of sweats as the pendant continued to blossom with the sound of the Alicorn's voice. "I do believe we have much to catch up on, Axon, Queen of Flame." The matriarch's many teeth clicked together. Axon ran a clawed hand over her horns, squinted thoughtfully at Rainbow Dash and replied to the ghostly voice. "Proceed, princess."